news. Gary has not been as much a shite bag and has managed to get himself under a heavy bench press. How are you feeling, Gary?
Yeah, good mate. I think after last week's recording, you lit a wee fire in my belly, and I thought, "Do you know what? Let's fucking do it." I hadn't trained in over a week because I was sick. I hadn't tested my bench since March, I believe, and I was like, "Let's see where I'm at." And I was pleasantly surprised with the outcome.
What did
Don't
you
get me
I
get?
wrong,
still had 105.
it's taken me. What did you say? What did I get, Kyle?
Yeah, what did you get?
102.5. So it's taken me, what, 4 months to add 2.5 kilo onto my bench, which might not seem like a lot, especially for beginners. But when you have kind of hit your ceiling for strength, it does take a little bit longer to add the little biscuits onto the end. So I am fucking chuffed to bits with that. Um, Bench press is the only thing that I've been really consistent with over the last wee while. My squats, my deadlifts, I feel like I could do a little bit more, a little bit better with them, but I've just not been as consistent. Very taxing on the body, and when you have been up all evening or all night, sorry, with a baby, the last thing that I've been wanting to do is put extra weight onto my deadlift bar, which I know is a piss poor excuse, but it's just the reality of where I'm at just now. So I'm happy that I've been able to progress my bench. Now I need to start focusing on the other two.
Mate, I would say on the deadlift thing, yeah, like deadlift is so stressful on your nervous system. I think just keeping it like RP 7 or 8, like having 2 or 3 reps left in the tank, probably the way to go about it. Like,
Yeah, 100%. I've also reintroduced overhead pressing into my routine as well because it is arguably my favorite exercise. I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I fucking love bench press. I think it's just like a universal thing for guys to enjoy. How much do you bench, bro? But there's just something about getting a heavy weight above your head that's just so satisfying. For me anyway. So I'm really enjoying the journey with my overhead pressing. I think my one rep max overhead press is like 62.5 or 65. I would need to go back into the archives to find that out. But I mean, I want to get body weight above my head. It's something that I've never done before. And now with my body weight dropping, it should be fairly uh, simple or easier to get that body weight overhead press happening. So we'll see what happens.
funny you said that, mate, because I was looking at there's an event. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, Affix. Have you heard
Yeah,
of it?
yeah, we get it over here, mate. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I think one of the like people keep saying to me like, "Oh, you'd be really good at that. It's got strength and it's got like like running and cardio in it." I'm like, "Yeah, to be fair, it is up my street." But then I looked at it and I'm like, it's an overhead press, and relatively speaking to what I should be lifting overhead press, it's not great. Like numbers,
Mhm.
like if it was bench press, it smash people. If it was overhead press, so I'm like, I think the most I've done over my head is 85 or 90, and I'm like, technically for what my bench press is and what my body weight is, if I was wanting to do really well, I need that in the hundreds. And it's just not a movement I've trained. Like I train it maybe once a week, and it's just not a movement that I've ever really driven the same way I've driven anything else. But I was on a wee walk yesterday, and I was like, I might actually just try and see if I can drive that number up a wee bit, see what it looks like.
Yeah, 100%. I think it was last year's. I don't know if it was last year's or the year before. A couple of members for the gym done ATHEX, and the strength portion was, I believe, a 3 or a 5 rep max squat and a 10 rep max overhead press. 10.
And man, that's
That's insane.
do you know what? An overhead press is a weird one because if you're doing like I also like I know I'm going on a slightly different tangent here. My issue with most of these things is movement standards and the fact that like with an overhead press, it'd annoy me if you're telling me you're not allowed leg drive, right? Fair enough. But guarantee you'll probably turn around and see 3 or 4 people push pressing it when I'm like frustrates me because like technically with a push press I could probably add like I could get over 100, but
Hmm.
like with a strict press I'm like there's no chance I'm getting over 100. So
Yeah.
it's annoying because I'm just like the movement standards would annoy me a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Well, apparently they were quite. they're a wee bit better than High Rocks, I believe, where with the movement standard side of things, and they are kind of enforcing the strictness of the overhead press, no knee bend, no little bounce. But even so, like a 10 rep max, man, like thing is with shoulders as well, like there's no warning that your shoulders are done. Like it just happens. It just like you could get to 7 reps and then all of a sudden you can't shift the weight anymore because your shoulders are like, fuck you, I'm not doing any more. At least with like a squat and deadlift, you can kind of grind it out because you're using a lot more of your body. Even with bench, you can grind that rep out, but with an overhead press, man, it's just done, especially if it is strict. Like, there's no way for you to get that above your head if it is not budging without using other parts of your body.
Cat's just trying to escape out the window at the moment. I'm like, what's going?
Well, it is roasting. Cat's not used to this heat.
Man, it badgered me all morning to get out the house. I let it out the house. It came back in within 15 minutes, and now it's trying to escape out the top window.
Excellent. It'll land on its feet, don't worry.
Oh man,
Is it his?
no,
Eh?
no,
No.
no, no.
Right, are we going to part two, the one from a couple of weeks ago, because we didn't part two it last week. Um, I believe where we finished up, we were talking about why weekends still cause problems. The overall theme that we're talking about is why consistency isn't about motivation. We want to build a lifestyle that we don't feel like we need to escape from. We talked about stop chasing perfect weeks. We spoke about busy not being the problem, decision fatigue being the problem. And then I believe we finished up on why weekends are still causing problems for a lot of people. Obviously, we took the information that we have been getting and the data that we've been getting from our group coaching. But I mean, we've worked with hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of people over the years, and these are not just things that crop up in the group coaching. These are things that crop up on a regular basis, even with ourselves sometimes as well. Like when we're not dialed in, when we're being a little bit more lax and a little bit more loose, these are all things that do tend to creep in, which is exactly why we thought it would be a good idea to bring them up in the podcast because I guarantee people listening to this are going they can resonate with one or two of the points. Some people might resonate with other points. So, are you happy to part to it then?
Static.
I'm just
Ecstatic.
impressed with how much you remembered of this because I was like, I don't even know what we're part two in anymore.
I'm pretty sure it was you that came up with the fucking notes as
I
well,
know.
Shannon. So.
I'm looking at it and be like, that's me, but what's this from? No idea.
Eh, to be fair, yeah, it's if it wasn't for the notes, I wouldn't have a fucking clue where we were at as well. So we are off to a great start, everybody. We do take this seriously, I promise.
It's just one of those weeks.
It's one of those weeks.
I'm sorry, we can't keep saying it's one of those weeks. We've been saying it's one of those weeks for about a year now. We can't keep doing this.
Well, I'm going to keep saying it's one of those weeks for the next 18 years of my life until Freddie moves out.
I'd say that we all have valid excuses, but I think even the listeners are like, right, troops, come on. Come on.
We are actually going to need to ask our listeners for help now. Does anybody want to be my coach?
I was like, if we get one more message in the group chat from all three of us going, you need to carry this, you need to carry this, you need to carry it. I'm like, nobody's carrying it. We just need to get ourselves sorted here.
Do you
Who's going to
know?
carry the boat?
Yeah, we do that quite a lot in like the our group chat between us. Like, oh, can you just carry the call tonight? Can you just carry the podcast today? It never fucking turns out like that. I think we just say that to make ourselves feel a bit
Feel
better
a
in case
little
we.
bit better.
Yeah, and it never ever works out like that. Like, no matter how tired we are, no matter how shite of a day or a night it's been, the night before, we always come like prepared and ready, and it's good fun. Sometimes it can go haywire, but man, it's what we're here for, isn't it? Good time, not a long time. Yes, Shannon.
I forgot the name of the presentation on Monday, so I cannot say that. Like I was like covering my arse there.
Oh,
I pure brain fart, and I was like, I don't know what it's called.
that was an all-timer. That
Yeah.
was the most painful thing that I've seen since Jen gave birth the second time.
To put this into context, everybody that doesn't know, we had a live call with our group coach on a Monday. Shannon made a wonderful presentation. It was like a bit of a training focused around kind of how to make training better, how to make your strength training better, etc.
Make it simple.
Make it simple, that's what it was. And Kyle asked Shannon, what's the name of the presentation so we could get it started. And I'm not even joking, there was maybe 15 seconds of silence. It was the most awkward, drawn out silence while Shannon panicked, hitting all the buttons on her laptop trying to find the fucking presentation. But we got there in the
The
end.
name of
We
it, what did
got
I call this?
I actually just thought Shannon's internet had fucking frozen again. To be fair, she probably could have got away with that excuse and just stayed completely still whilst her fingers done all the work below her.
No, because you would have seen my top lip sweating with the panic.
I like how Gary, when you were explaining what the presentation was just there, Shannon's like, it's making training simple. I was like, you're not forgetting that again in a hurry, are you?
No,
So,
traumatized off the back of it. Right, so we are on to point
point
number
number
four.
four.
Point number four. And yeah, we spoke about this in the podcast a hell of a lot. We spoke about confidence and how confidence tends to come before results. Now, a lot of people think that the results are going to come first and then the confidence is going to come off the back of that, but we tend to find that it's actually the other way around. We've got members in the coaching group who are saying in their check-ins, even in their kind of private chats that they have with us, I'm stronger. I'm performing better in the gym. My clothes are fitting better. I feel more confident. I actually feel fitter. And this is all before they've hit their goal weight, um, which is in itself a huge mindset shift. And weight loss is simply one outcome of the whole picture. But a lot of people do tend to put all their eggs in one basket and focus solely on the scales and the weight loss side of things and how much they let the scales dictate on whether they are being successful or not. When it's just so fucking far from the truth. Like, in my opinion, and I'm sure it's the opinion of Kyle and Shannon as well, the bigger win is each individual or each person becoming someone who trains consistently. Even when they're having a shit day or a shit week, they still show up for themselves. They start to feel capable of achieving what they want to achieve. They feel capable of living the the sort of lifestyle that they want to live. They have more energy, that they're maybe, I was going to say maybe not bouncing out of bed in the morning, but right now with the sunshine, I find myself that I'm bouncing out of bed in the morning. I'm fucking throwing open the curtains, and starting to feel proud of themselves and what they have achieved instead of overlooking all the tiny little things that they've done super well and focusing on the one thing that they maybe didn't do quite so well. So for me, for you guys, for everybody listening, confidence comes before results. If you can start to dial in your little habits, the little habitual changes, it's going to last a lifetime. That personally for me is the true result.
You do it. I was trying to give Shannon a moment because she keeps saying that we jump in front of her. So I was going to say, can you do it? And
And
I
I
think
was waiting for you to start.
so Shannon, this is your problem. You don't need to put your hand up, just jump in. But you can do it. Can you do it in a cold, rainy Tuesday night in Govan, Gary? Because as much as you're jumping out of bed right now, let's see how you go, buddy. Um, the people who get the best. Okay, I'm going to change this. The people who get life-changing results aren't always the ones that drop the most amount of weight. And when we look at like what confidence is, it could be people who've gone to the gym 3 times in a week for the first time in years. It could be the fact that people have managed to get through a weekend and actually semi-stuck to a plan. It could be the first Monday in years that someone has woke up and not absolutely dreaded the week. It's the confidence of being able to turn up for yourself, the trust that you have in yourself that even when things don't go to plan, that you can jump back on it. Like it's those type of things are what ultimately will build belief and confidence in yourself. Like scale weight, strength, body composition is a lagging metric in terms of it's an outcome that will take care of itself if you can really dial in a process rather than anything else.
Yeah, on like surface level, everybody knows what to do. You know, there's a wealth of information out there, pointing you in the right direction, but the confidence that people lack in themselves to actually follow through with that plan is where people tend to trip up more so than not.
I'm gonna. Did you see the video from Ricardo Oliver? The one where he actually said he uses that quote, and I'm sorry, I'm not arguing with the quote that everybody knows what to do. I think as a general point, like most people do know that like probably moving more is better for them, like eating healthier food is better for them, sleeping more. Like we all know the things that we probably should be doing more of to an extent. There are certain things that are like small coaching points we can give to optimize that. I love that word optimize. But did you see the
Oh,
video?
that's a nick for Gary.
Yes. Depends if you spell it with an S or a Z, but if you look at Ricardo Oliver's video, he pretty much took most of the viral fitness information and it was like it literally was one exercise after another where somebody's like, this is the way that you optimize for your tricep extension, but then the other one's going, no, never do this for a tricep
Yeah.
extension. And the next one's going, this is the way that you should bench press, never bench press. And it's like there is to an extent a lot of conflicting information out there. I'm going to slightly down a different rabbit hole, but did you see the video at all?
I didn't, but I
No.
will look that up.
Is
Because I
this the
quite
fella that I'm not a fan of because he's so aggressive?
he's very aggressive. Welsh Italian fitness he used to be on Instagram.
He does
Um,
all the like reacting videos.
Yeah, he called out Tony McAleeve, Tony the Farmer, and all
Yes.
that. Yeah, yeah.
he fucking flew to Ireland and called him out face to face. It was great.
I was going to say he does it. He called out James Smith. Did you see the
He did.
video? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
James Smith's in
Um,
Ireland at the moment.
Ricardo Oliver's flying over right now.
It's sunny in Ireland right now.
But yeah, he can be quite aggressive. I think he's just a very man's man. Like, oh, this is
Yeah,
what, do you know what I mean? So it can come across a bit of a arrogant prick at times. But I think that the message behind what he's saying
right.
is great. It's amazing. And obviously he's got his niche where, do you know what? If you don't like what he's got to say or how he's saying it, then you're not the person for him or he's not the person for you, and that's perfectly okay. But he's not afraid to call some big names out, which is outstanding.
Yeah, I know what to get on a slight segue there, and I'm going to segue it back in. I think the big thing is for most people, confidence comes from being able to do the thing and knowing that they're doing the thing. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's like end goals, it's more so actually knowing that you're on the path to success. And like there's a lot to be said about knowing that you're part of the journey and that you can control bad weeks, you can control good weeks, but you showing up for yourself is one of the most powerful things you can do. Certainly for me, even before I had kids, I genuinely was always like, if I'm looking back and get asked for advice, I always want to be able to kind of go, right, when I was in this tough situation, what did I do? Like, did I choose a really easy way out, or did I manage to work it out myself and probably choose a harder option? And I think at that point, like for me, I'm like, that is growth. Like, can you deal with a situation that you had a year ago, but this time you deal with it completely differently? Like you deal with it better. Those are the type of
Mhm.
things that are like what builds confidence.
Yeah, 100%. And it's not going to be easy. There is going to be times when you get frustrated, you get annoyed, you want to go back into the comfort bubble that your brain and your nervous system has created. But that's where a coach comes in very, very handy because we are able to slowly entice you out of that comfort bubble, show you the light, and guide you on the path to freedom, essentially, a better quality of life, and yeah, a happier you.
Gary really did bounce out of bed this morning. He's so positive and full of like words of wisdom.
I'm
Sorry, on you go.
no, Gary, you defend yourself or whatever.
No, no, I'm not. I'm just going to say I'm
It's
double.
not a dig. I'm just like, yeah, Gary's like really positive and he's got like all these really positive things to say. And I'm like, My eyes are still glued together. How do I open them?
I'm double caffeinated today
Ah,
already, so yeah, the caffeine is coursing through my veins, and I'm feeling very good, very positive. Do you know what else is
feeling
bringing the
optimized.
yes, feeling optimized? Do you know what else is bringing the positivity? A 102.5 bench press that I got the other day, and the fact that for the last week and a half, I have tracked at least 80% of my food every single day, and I'm about 2 kilos down. Who would have thought that dialing in, tracking your food is works?
Not
I
me.
think you stole my 2 kilos.
So yeah, feeling good, and you can tell when things are starting to kind of align for me because it does affect me on a surface level. And but it's one of those things like I'm not afraid to admit it. I'm not afraid to hold my hands up and say, do you know what? I've made a few poor decisions, poor choices over the last wee while. I've been looking for easy outs. I've been making easy excuses. And do you know why I've been doing that? Because I'm a fucking human being. I have feelings and emotions. And see, sometimes those feelings and emotions win. It's normal. But do you know what? I know how to pull myself back.
Great. And what good for you, mate, getting things done. And again, who'd have thought tracking your food would have led to a bit of fat loss and weight loss? And again, it's the confidence of knowing that like tracking 8% of your food what should equate to a certain outcome. I was going to ask you, but you did bring up something just in your last wee section where you said about where coaches help, and I kind of have a very interesting point on this that I see. It's been going through my head for quite a bit. I'm to and fro on it. Do you think everybody is coachable?
Oh, that's a very good question. I do believe that everyone can be coachable.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Do I
just
believe
not
that they
when
are
at certain
coachable?
points.
Yeah, exactly that. Do I believe that they are coachable? No. Do I believe that they can be? Yes. Now, what I mean by that is some people will throw money at a coach and expect all the problems to be fixed. Like throwing money at something doesn't automatically mean that it's being fixed. You could be in the pits of fucking depression and in a terrible place in your life, throwing money at something isn't just going to solve that. You have to actually admit that, yeah, I've got a bit of work to do, and be open to a bit of criticism, be open to a bit of change. And if you're not willing to do that, if you're just blaming the world for being against you, then you're never ever going to succeed. Did I answer that right though?
So, mate, I kind of to and fro on this one myself, where I'm like, I'm trying to get my head around how some people can come on board and, as you said, throw money at it. And then I'm like, we look at the people who don't get results because, like, that I think I have to open and honestly say is like, we don't get 100% results with everybody.
Yeah,
And like, I wouldn't have been, and we wouldn't have been in business as long as what we had if we didn't look at why some of those reasons are. And ultimately, we do have a very high ratio. You'll see people like who run coaching services and they'll like 5 or 10% of their clients will get results and like 90% don't. Like we are probably the opposite, where like at 75 to 85% of people who come in, like they get the results they want. I actually did have the percentage somewhere, it is in the range of 75 to 85%. But if you look at us, like let's say that we take on average 150 to 200 people a year, like they're still within that. Like if you're looking at percentage wise, there's like, yes, whilst we get 110 to 120 of them results, still 20 to 30 that we potentially don't. And I do sometimes go, right, what could we do better? And there are always things that we can certainly do better. But there's also, I'm kind of going, what are the reasons that people aren't taking on board like what we do? And like to be fair, some from now, like we've all sent people startup plans that are really in detail and cater to where they are, not open to. And you go, how do you how do you get past the point where somebody's not even opening the first message for their plans? They've
yeah.
possibly put a bit of money down and all of a sudden not even open it. That
Or worse, they tell you that they have, but you know they haven't.
Mhm.
oh yeah, yeah. For what it's worth, we can see what the guys are doing in terms of what they've watched, what they've seen, how much of a video, if I've sent them a video they've actually watched and listened to. Um, and sometimes I go, is that because it does create a bit of confusion, or it did create a bit of confusion for me, where I was like, they spoke to me on a call or through messages telling me how much it meant to them to get a result. Yet when it comes to a 6 minute video to kind of get them set up where I've said that that'll explain everything to you, they've not opened it. And
Mhm.
obviously, there are reasons where I'm like, right, okay, maybe that's the actual video was off-putting them. There's a way you can get around that. So I've started instead of just being really steadfast and like what I used to be a few years ago, going, well, if you can't even watch a video, there's no chance you're getting results. I'll try and get around that by maybe prompting them or messaging them, but then sometimes still not getting a response. I'm going, is that the fact that you're not coachable? Or is it just in that moment, it's not the right time? There's too many different things going on for you.
Mhm.
I'm not entirely sure myself.
I think a lot of people do tend to sign up to coaching because they're in a, they're feeling vulnerable and they're going through a bit of an emotional episode. They're not actually ready to commit, or they don't actually feel like it's what they want or need at this current time. They're just acting on impulse. And
Mm.
then after the money's down, fear starts to set in, reality of what they've actually signed up for can start to set in as well. Or just the fact that they maybe realise that it is going to be a lot harder than they first anticipated, so they shite themselves. I'm not even joking. There's a woman at the gym. There's a woman that was going to join the gym, sorry, and she's maybe come in 3 or 4 different times through the application process. Every single time she's come in, she has paid the first month and then patched the messages after that. So we've never onboarded her. There's never been an in-person one-to-one chat. It's all been through the onboarding process. Sorry, the application process. Paid the first month and then just ghosted. And this has happened like multiple times. And um, like it's hard for us to understand why she's doing that because she won't tell us. Um, so yeah, I mean, I don't know. The thought processes of some folk, it is hard and difficult to understand, especially when those certain people are not willing to be transparent about how they're feeling and what they're thinking. The more transparent you can be, the better it will be for us to understand where you're currently at and what needs to be worked on first. Because it's not all just about come in, eat less calories, train 4 or 5 times a week in the gym. There is a lot more to that. There's a lot more to coaching than just that itself.
Do this all the time. We have people that we coach for 3 months, but we've currently got people that we have coached for 5 years plus, as long as we have been online. I'm like, if it was just a case of setting people calories in a program, like they wouldn't have stayed for 5 years. Like there's no
Yeah.
chance they would have stayed. There's so much more to it. And I spoke to one of the girls we coach, Nicole, about this because she was asking about psychology and stuff. And like again, Shannon and I have gone quite deep into this in terms of like the process of like people's needs, what the hierarchy of like what they need, how they need coached, what they value, how they are going to receive feedback, like the things to approach them with, the things possibly that they won't respond well to. Like there's so much more to it than just going right, there's your food and go for it. Like people need different things and for different
Hmm.
reasons. And even within that, like there's people in that 5 year scale, and I love this to a large extent, but there's people who could have valued one thing in 2021, but in 2026, that's not a value for them anymore. And they've changed because they've gone through a process of change in their beliefs. So think probably to go full circle in terms of is everybody coachable? I think you can change your beliefs and your hierarchy of needs. I think you probably need to be in a place where you're receptive to wanting to kind of really go deeper into that. And I think sometimes when you take that initial step, possibly does become a little bit overwhelming to start off with, and that's the thing that can debilitate you.
Yeah, fully agree. Um, I don't know why this. I do know why it's popped into my head because Bear's behind me, fucking coughing away. But this puts into light how Much better, I'm feeling, from the positive side of things. I don't know if you've seen on my story yesterday that Bear decided to wake up yesterday and just fuck shit up. So did you see it, Shannon?
Did he hurt his eye or something?
He did, yeah. So he's been having a bit of an eye issue for a couple of days now, and yesterday he couldn't even open it, and it was all gunky, and we took him. We had to get him an emergency appointment at the vet. Turns out he's damaged his cornea. He has a big fucking crevice right in the middle of his eyeball. And the vet fleeced us for 260 quid. We have to put eye drops in his eye 3 times a day at least. Does he let us? Does he fuck? He had my arm in his mouth this morning trying to do it. That 2 weeks ago would have been enough to send me over the edge. I would have just fucking thrown in the towel and been like, fuck it. Like, I'm getting a pizza every night this week. I am getting tore into a tub of ice cream. But because I've put those tiny little systems in place, because I have a goal in mind, that's keeping me on the straight and narrow. And I didn't. Don't get me wrong. At the time, I'm like, I'm stressed out my fucking box here. Like, what is this? How are we going to deal with this? But those little kind of few minutes of stress doesn't it then mean that I lead into 2 weeks of poor decisions? Do you know what I mean? So I was able to overcome it, take a bit of a step back, breathe for 30 seconds, and then just crack on because there's nothing else for it. Like, there's no point in sitting in my own stress and emotions just because of something that's making my life a tiny little bit harder. Um, as long as we can do what we need to do to save Bear's eye, essentially, then I've actually got it all right. Like I've got two fully working eyes. I'm okay. I can get up in the morning and do you know what I mean? And go for a walk and go to the gym. I'm actually really quite lucky. So there was no point in wallowing in my own self-pity just because of trying to put fucking eye drop in Bear when he doesn't like it.
To be fair, I kind of questioned how much I wanted to see when I was watching the first half of the England-Argentina last night game. It was awful.
Yeah, mate, it's fucking terrible.
Lad
Uh,
performance.
It's not about the performance, Shannon. It's about the result at the end of the day, and the good guys won. Sorry to any of our English listeners, but well, actually, I'm not.
Alexa, play kneecap. Get your birth sight. Urgh.
Um, wow, wow. Yeah, and you've not had it easy with Bear. Full stop. Like you've had
No,
a fair old run of it. Like
Oh my God, man. He knows when we're getting back on our feet,
he's like,
and things are starting to
"No,
go well, and Bear just
we're
goes and head butts a hedge and fucking pokes his tail in the eye. Do you know what I mean?
good man. I'm gonna probably jinx myself by saying this, but thankfully we've not had too many. Like we had a lot of issues with Lockie and Fizz when we first got them in the hospital, potentially not making it, like lots of money spent. But thankfully, in touch wood, since then it's been fairly smooth going. But tell you what, dogs, cats, sometimes harder than children.
mhm.
Mate, having Bear for a couple of years before Freddie was here fully prepared me for Freddie. I'm not even exaggerating in the slightest.
Yeah, mate, it's
Milo gave himself carpet burn from chasing the ball the other day in the garden.
wow.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
whole stomach shredded.
Excellent. Excellent. Fucking dogs, man. Anyway, shall we move on
Yes, we
to
very
point
much
five?
diverted.
Anyone want to take the lead in this one?
I shall. So, point number five. Stop waiting until life calms down. And this is probably the biggest lesson most of the guys in the group coaching and their one-to-one coaching as well have realized. Um, Everyone is waiting for things just to die down a wee bit when life's not crazy, work's not crazy, kids aren't sick, when we don't have social events to attend to. But the reality is they're always there. And it's just about being able to build your structure and your routine around life as well and include it. That's usually you'd probably find with most people that want to sign up but never do. They're like, oh, I'll sign up when life gets a little bit quieter, when I don't have holidays or concerts and that. And I always say, like on a call, even with one-to-one clients that are signing up, especially coming into summer, because summer's the busiest time. I was like, if anything, this is now the best point to sign up because you will actually learn the tools to cope with these things
Hmm.
going forward. You'll be grand then. I don't know if that works for them, but it seems to make sense then. They're like, actually, no, you're onto something here. Like, if I learn to deal with this head on first, then I'll be able to do it for the rest of my life. And I'm like, yes. Um, but what are your thoughts? Do you find that as well? A lot of people would like say look forward to coaching, but then they pull back out and be like, actually, wait, I'll wait till life's not busy and then I'll do it.
Just not the right time. There's never the right time. Like with
Never the right
life,
time.
if you're waiting for life to calm down, then you're on to plums. Life is hectic. Life is crazy. There's always going to be unplanned events happening. There's always going to be, like you mentioned, Shannon, like kids being sick, dogs walking into a hedge and poking themselves in the eyeball. It's going to happen. And if you're not prepared to accept that, then you're just going to be stuck in this constant loop of feeling shit about yourself and your situation and waiting for the right time to start. And then it's just going to continue to go in circles and circles and circles until you feel like you're at a point where there's either no point in starting or you're that deep in it that there's just no fixing you.
Boss is
Kyle,
taking hard there.
Kyle is thinking very
No, I don't
hard.
know what direction to take in because, like, if like it really, if you asked me 2 years ago, I'd be pulling my hair out of this because I'm like, people get in their own way all the time.
Yeah.
Like constantly see and hear people go, oh, like I'm gonna wait. So people start Christmas in fucking the end of October, and then from November, December, they're winding down until Christmas, but they're going to start in January. But when January comes, they do one or two things. Either wait till payday at the end of January, which is really February, before they actually get started doing anything, which is 3 months from November to January that they've wasted throughout the year. Or they start in January and kick the arse out of it for 2 weeks because they know that they've been an arsehole for the last 2 months before it, and then they never last. But then from the point of, let's say, March right through to like July/August. They've got I'm waiting for the kids to finish school. I'm waiting for the summer holidays to be over. I've got too many concerts, I've got too many barbecues, I've got this happening, I've got a wedding, I've got whatever. And like I think people fail to realize how busy their life actually is. And what my point of this is that if you're only ever learning how to do things when things are really, really quiet, then you're never going to be able to manage it long term anyway. So I'm not saying what's the point, but like genuinely what what is the point in doing it for a short period of time? Like you need to like I have one of the difficult conversations that I have to have with clients is like sometimes you get them like doing 2 months and they're like, oh, I think I'm going to give it a wee break now for the summer. I've got a lot happening. And I'm like, what do you think's going to happen when you give it a wee break? Do you not see there's maybe a cycle that you're getting into right now where, yes, the level of aggression that you've been able to do isn't going to be the same, but surely you should learn how to be flexible over this period of time so you can actually learn to live with it, build trust in yourself so that you don't feel like you have to take a break each time. I've got people who work like there's two people that come to mind on this where it's just like every single time that like life gets busy in terms of like they have a few extra shifts at work or the change or whatever going, no, I'm going to have to take a wee break for this month. I'm like, what does taking a break actually mean to you? What you stop looking after your food, you stop trying to get movement in, you stop training. Like, is like what exactly is it that you're taking a break from? And like ultimately, what does it look like when you take a break? What do you think happens?
Do you know the thing that I think pushes most people to quote unquote take a break, and what they mean by it is, I'm just going to stop tracking my food.
This is going to sound awful. There was a guy who I coached for a good amount of time, and he was actually dead on, had built the habits and had built the consistency and stuff. And like one of his kind of last messages was, oh, I think I just need a wee break from the tracking and stuff.
Mhm.
And I'm going, oh man, like I wish we'd had this conversation and we could have a conversation about this, as in why you were finding that difficult, because he never made it out as if it was a difficult thing or like why he feels the need. But like genuinely had to have a conversation with him about going, like I'm not being Captain Killjoy in terms of like saying like you absolutely can we can take you away. And we had been working on the tools to take him away from tracking, but like if you come completely away from tracking for the rest of your life, you're going to put on body weight. And like I know that that's not the worst thing to a lot of people, and each to their own, that's fine. But like it did break my heart a wee bit because I'm like a year down the line, he's put on a good bit again, and I'm like, oh, that
Yeah.
hurts. That hurts.
Not tracking your food is what got 99% of the people in the position that they're in to ask for help or to feel like they need help. Intuitively eating without understanding and having the knowledge as to what you're actually eating is a massive, massive problem. And if you want to take a break from eating the type of food that fuels you, that makes you feel better, that gives you the opportunity to live a better quality of life, then what you need therapy.
I, you put a post into one of our groups. Actually, I was looking for it this morning. I can't find it, but it was a girl who put up slides pretty much going, weighing your food isn't normal, tracking your
Uh,
food isn't normal.
Yeah.
There's so many mixed, not even mixed thoughts, very, very strong thoughts on this. I know that that girl, from her perspective, that's maybe how she feels. And I think under the guise of like maybe she was completely restricted with her calories, maybe there was no understanding around food, maybe there was a good bit going on in the background at Sham. Go let you in, go on.
She had an eating disorder, so that's where that one came from.
Cool. Yeah, so like she's coming from the point of view of having an eating disorder. So like for people who have eating disorders, yeah, like maybe tracking your food without like really high level coaching and psychology is maybe not the thing because that can create like bigger issues for you. But that's also like saying that somebody with liver disease shouldn't be taking paracetamol. And like it's a completely different thing for what that looks like. So for me, I'm going. Yeah, whilst I love the idea of intuitive eating, like it's, I mean, one of the hardest conversations we have to have with people is tracking food and making that easier for them. But like our life would be so much easier if we just told everybody not to. But like, whilst that actually helps in terms of like how they feel, it doesn't actually help in terms of getting them results. And the results is ultimately why most people come in because most people aren't on, like, if we look at the stats, people are getting fatter, people are getting more unhealthy. Like, that there's not a, we feel this way. It's like, it's actual facts that people are getting that. People are feeling less in control of things. The food industry is making things worse as well. You look at like calorie meals are far higher than what they used to be. Like intuitive eating, like I got I've had a few dinners with Jen and stuff, and I'm like looking at it going, just dish in front of me is 900 calories, homemade, but it's 900 calories. I'm going, if I have that plus what I actually want to eat throughout the day, man, I'm going to be eating 4 or 5 thousand calories a day on the regular. I'm like, and I'm not joking when I say that. Like, it's going to ramp up calories really, really quickly. And yes, if you can never break from the, do you know what, I've got a weekend and I really just want to enjoy it, or I've got a meal that's worth not tracking for, then like work on that. But it's not tracking that's the issue. That's the way you're viewing things. Tracking's a tool that, like as Gary said, 80% of the time, if you use it, is going to get you to where you want to be. But it shouldn't be something that like all of a sudden comes with you shouldn't do that or weigh your food because it's all it is awareness, and turning a blind eye to things don't make it better. It really doesn't make it better in terms of like just saying it doesn't exist.
and it helps with portion control as well, tracking your food. Like people's idea of what a portion is so far removed from the reality of it as well. What's both your thoughts on coaches that actually promote like themselves and their services by saying like we don't track food in here. I don't get my clients to track food because I think it's quite irresponsible if I'm being perfectly honest with you. But what's your thoughts on it?
Oh, I would agree. I would think that, like, if you're going to coach someone, you're planning to help them to get fitter, healthier overall, and you're not teaching them about balancing a fucking meal, which comes from tracking, because you need to understand how calories work for you to be able to get the right portions, like you said, for each individual person. I think it's a bit irresponsible, and I think it's like this whole woke nonsense of I'm a different coach and I do this because I want to make you feel better. And I'm like,
Mhm.
no. Like my biggest pet peeve when it comes to tracking is when people be like, I can't wait to not track. Like I can't wait to get to the point where I don't have to do this for the rest of my life. I'm like, why? Like you don't want to take care of your health? Because that's what like tracking's not just a diet. Like I use it for every stage so I can understand how to fuel my body correctly. So Why don't you want to do that for the rest of your life?
I think if you're given the option, most people probably don't want to track, and I'm going to include myself in that because it's time. Like I am, if I don't have to be on my phone, if I don't have to analyze things, I wouldn't. But also, I'm aware of the cost of what that looks like to not. On your point as to coaches promoting it, I think like the reason they're promoting it is because there's a large market for it because people inherently want to the secret of like they don't want to have to do that. And if everybody's banging on about you having to track and somebody tells you you don't, especially if that person's in good shape, of course they're going to go, oh, this is class. But I would look at like let's look at science and evidence here. What is going to control your body composition, no matter what way you dress it up, is going to be calories. So they're going to have to, if they're working in any form of nutrition, you're going to have a nutrition protocol that is that like without actually tracking calories gets you to where you want to be. So what that typically involves is there's got to be some form of restrictive diet somewhere. So if it's not tracking, it's likely going to be a meal plan. Like that's it's going to be keto, it's going to be there's going to be some form of you can't have this because ultimately what we're doing is like the fucking Scooby-Doo mask here. What we're doing is dressing up a calorie deficit or dressing up calories in a different way. I remember seeing just actually talking about coaches. There was a paid ad that somebody put up, and it was like a middle-aged woman who was like, "Oh yeah, tracking your calories is cool and all that." Or sorry, why track your calories when you can just get stronger? And then she went down and started doing push-ups. I'm like, well, that's great and all that, but if you're somebody who's carrying an extra 30 to 40 kilos worth of body fat, has problems with food, is constantly on a, which most people are, is just gaining that extra 1 to 2 kilos a year, can do push-ups till the cows come home. Like, you're not fucking going to change your circumstances.
Yeah, 100%. Um, I find as well like a structured meal plan for people that aren't tracking, people that don't want to track, it's not really teaching them much. Like it's teaching them what they need to eat to get in shape, but there's no understanding behind why they're eating what they're eating. There's no understanding behind why they're eating how much they're eating. Um, so I just think it's a cop out for coaches that do want to play on people's feelings and emotions and laziness to make themselves a quick buck. If you're in a position where you're unhappy in your own skin and you are refusing to track calories because it's too restrictive, first of all, you need to grow the fuck up because you have to be restrictive to get you to where you want to be from a body composition point of view. And secondly, track the fucking food. It's hard, it's annoying, it's time consuming, but do you know what? It's a skill. See, the more you do it, the more efficient you become at it, the easier it starts to become. It's still going to take time, of course, right? But that is a time management issue on your part, not a fucking tracking your food issue.
I would agree. I actually think we're at the point where life has become so comfortable for us in terms of, I'm not saying like, I'm sure a lot of people probably fucking perking up, right, going, oh, life is tough. I'm not saying it's not tough, but what I'm saying is a lot of the things when it comes to movement and when it comes to food is so comfortable that you don't actually need to move to do anything these days. You can get things delivered to your door. You don't need to leave the house. You don't need to speak to a human being. Like when it comes to your food, it's like that you can order it. It doesn't need to be prepped. Like these things didn't exist 100 years ago. So when people are going, tracking is not something you're meant to do. Yes, 100 to 150 years ago, when you are averaging an extra 12,000 steps a day and you were having to put effort into making things that weren't 900 calories without you doing a single stitch, of course you weren't meant to do it
For your
because
own food and all that kind of jazz.
your circumstances changed, but like I know photos didn't exist 150 years ago, but from what I'm aware of any data or literature that we have is like people weren't as heavy, unfit as what they are now, and that's because we're at the first time where we're having abundance of food. Calories that we have in foods, like people don't want to accept it. One of the things that we often hear from people when they start with is going, "Oh, I've started tracking my food, and do you know what? The beef's actually coming down." Was one of the words that one of the people who started the other week was like, "Oh, I can't believe the beef's actually coming down." But the thing that's often said is, "Jesus, I didn't realize how many calories are in that," or
Yeah.
"Oh, it's actually good just to be aware of this. Now that I'm aware of that, I would actually rather have this than that. So instead of having what they thought was bacon and eggs in the morning and like 300 calories of oil, once I've tracked it, they're going, oh, Jesus, 800 calories in that. I would actually rather just have this for breakfast, and it could be a yogurt and a croissant or something like that, where they're like, this is a lot better than what I was having in the first place. But just on that last point in terms of making money, just when you said the coaches that put out you don't need to track and you can get in shape, I guarantee you, if I put out or we put out for biofitness, we put out a big thing as of start of August going, you can get in shape without tracking your food. I guarantee you it would probably be one of our biggest launches and would all make more money than we've seen from anything else before because inherently people want that idea of this is less friction.
Mhm.
Last thing on this. I have had many conversations with people through DMs on Instagram and stuff where they tell me all the problems. It's very food related, and then they go, "Yeah, but I feel like I need to go to an in-person PT." Like, but why don't you want to address the food issue? And it's like, oh, they're doing well. I'm like, do you think you paying somebody whatever it is, 30 quid an hour, whatever it is, for them trying to firstly get you doing enough exercise during that session to warrant you doing a session in the first place and amongst your chat about how your day was and all that, they're really going to sit back and be able to see the ins and outs of your food and stuff. The reason, in my opinion, a lot of people will do that is because it actually kind of they're not addressing their food. They feel like they're addressing their food. It's a feeling of addressing their food without actually having to address their food, and they hope that that will kind of get them results.
Yeah,
It'll counteract their food.
they hang on to hope, and it's not going to work. Um, Quickly before we move on to the next point, my favourite is I could just have a bowl of cereal in the morning. I don't eat that much. Have you tracked your cereal? No. Probably sitting on about a 650 calorie bomb there with absolutely no nutritional value whatsoever. Track your fucking food.
Yeah, yes. Well, I think it's just like the lack of probably appreciation for the fact that I'm like, I am so confident in no matter who comes in front of me because I have literally dealt with thousands at this point, probably. I'm not going to say probably anymore, there's at least 1,000 people that I'm like, I've seen the patterns, I know how things look, I know the outcomes, I know when times when things are slow, what to expect and when it's going to happen. And like, it's down to like, I can do things in seconds where it usually took me hours to do, but I'm like, when it comes to like somebody going, oh, I'm just not losing weight and stuff, I can see in seconds where they're going wrong and literally going, right, have you tracked this? Is this like you look at some of these breakfasts and again it could be eggs, bacon, and like you've then got like a potato scone or an island of potato farro there, and you're going, right, how was all that made? Oh,
Yeah.
I grill it, sorry, not grill it, I fry it. I'm like, right, you just dry frying it, are you? Oh yeah, actually, you know what? I've not really been tracking the wee glass of orange juice I have alongside it. Right, well, there's part of your problem. Like there's when people start going, oh, I'm gaining weight and they're doing it consistently, like say over a 3 week period, I'm like, it's fucking physically, well, good for you, you defy science, but I know there's something going on behind that, and it's just about at what point we're going to be honest about when we're going to start to find it. And 99 out of 100 times when the honesty comes in, all of a sudden weight starts to drop down really quickly. It's potato bread. Well, Shannon, it depends on what you want to call it. It's called potato farro when you got super value or centra. So
I have always known it as potato bread.
A potato scone is potato bread.
Yeah, the square one that's flat.
you technically don't get potato scone in its form that you get in Scotland and Ireland. The closest that I have seen is potato farro, or I think if Shannon's calling it potato bread, I'm not entirely sure. It's not.
Aaron's more of the triangular looking one, isn't it?
That's a scone. That's a potato scone.
Yeah, potato bread is like a square one. It's very
Yeah.
flat. It's like a
Yeah, yeah.
pancake almost.
Here's just a quick side tangent on this. Like, see a roll in Ireland. I don't know if I've said this before, but
Oh, you have.
it's a baguette and not an actual bap, and that blows my mind.
Yeah. Fucking the Irish way of thinking in it. A baguette.
But if you were having soup in a roll, would it be a back roll then, or would it be baguette bread?
That would be like a little tiny, tiny little baguette. like a little
Yeah.
tiny little
So
one.
soup and a roll, that's acceptable, but
That's if you go out to eat, like they'll put a bit of bread on your table and it's usually like miniature baguettes. But if I'm
yeah,
having soup at home, I'm having a slice of bread.
Yeah, I'm having bread
I'm
as
having
well.
a pan of bread.
What the fuck's a pan of bread?
Full loaf of bread, like a pan, like a half pan.
I'd call it a loaf bread.
Yeah, I would call it a loaf as well. A loaf of bread. Half a loaf.
Oh, it's called a half pan here or a pan of bread.
Cool. Um, we've now learned our
I
different.
Yeah.
can't wait till Gary comes over and I can just take him on a grand tour of these are very random Irish things that we do that he probably will not understand.
I
This
think
is
I
a
think at
loaf
the
of bread or a pan of bread.
I think at the rate at which Gary's starting to lose weight and tracking his food, it's probably best Gary doesn't come over for a while because he's probably ripping it all back on.
Yeah. Part of me wishes I was still a famine before I came over, to be honest.
Oh, wow.
That's a joke.
Oh, wow.
I
Well,
Cancelled
know
we
we've
that.
are.
learned to adapt with the potato. The potato does many different things now.
Oh,
I
wow.
know there was never a famine, don't worry. Fuck the British, fuck the English. I am on that side.
Alexa, recap.
We have 3.5 minutes to get this last point over.
Oh, fucking hell. Coyote's timing is. Right. The final point is celebrate more wins. I touched on this earlier. People often skip over the small and huge achievements because they're so focused on what didn't go perfectly or what didn't go well. Examples of wins that we want you to celebrate and that you fucking should be shouting from the rooftops about is hitting PBs in the gym, your clothes fitting better, dropping a belt size, better sleep. If your sleep's improved, that is huge. Like you do not understand how important getting better quality sleep is for you, your health, your longevity. And that leads on to the next point as well, having more energy, increased confidence, which is another massive one. Better relationship with food, which is something that we were just speaking about there. Hitting your step goal consistently, getting more daily movement in, running farther than you had before without feeling like you are going to blow a gasket, and choosing balance instead of restriction long term as well. So yeah, celebrate more wins. I want you to celebrate every single fucking win that you have. And if you're not realizing how many wins you actually do have, keep a little journal, keep a little gratuity journal. Ask yourself three questions at the end of the day. What went well today? What did I learn today? And what was one win from the day? And that will start to highlight how much better you are actually doing than what you have given yourself credit for because you're just focusing on the bigger things that didn't quite go so well. Um, Anything you want to add? I think I hopefully I've done that in 3.5 minutes.
Fucking smashed it.
It's not,
Fucking smashed it.
Fucking smashed it.
not the first time you've cooked in 3.5 minutes.
Hey,
Hey,
hey, that's why Freddie's here.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, and that's how Freddie was born.
Thanks, Dave and Toby, for the music.
Just finishing on that, yeah. Thank you all very much. Hopefully, you took some value from what we were talking about today.
Thanks.
Shannon.
Bye.